All right, what's happening, guys? This is William Craddock with Will to Win Gaming, and this is my top 16 Doffy deck tech and primer. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so let's talk about this Doffy list. It ran very smoothly. I have a few tech choices that might be a little different than the other Doffys. There's not a lot I would change going into the future, but I'll talk about that here in a second. Let's kick it off. 3 Jackal Mihawks. This is your boss monster, incredibly important in a number of matchups. While it's very good against Whitebeard, you don't really need it. Where it shines is your green matchups, your Kinemons, your red-green Laws. You don't want to play more than 3. If it gets strained in your hand, it can make some awkward turns with your Love Mellow beam, so I think it's a perfect number, 3 Draco Mihawks. Next, let's move into the 4-drop Gekko Moria. This card is actually rather incredible, I found. Going into the tournament, I didn't have a lot of experience with Doffy. I think I played it for like 2 weeks in my locals. This card, this 4-drop Gekko, perfect. When it comes in, you can return a 4 cost or lower 7 Lords of the Sea other than Gekko to your hand, which is important because you can't return this Gekko Moria. I didn't know that. But yeah, you can just, on your opponent's turn, defend a 2K with your Mihawk. On your turn, attack, leader ability, Gekko into play, get your Mihawk back. Just the tempo, the card advantage, overall, one of the best targets you can hit. Next, we'll go to 4 Boa Hancock. Probably the 3rd best thing you can hit. Boa's ability triggers quite often because, having 5 or less cards isn't difficult. You can maneuver your gameplay around that. She's a blocker. Her only commitment to resources is the 1 Dawn you have to put under her. But it also works when she attacks. So you can be offensive with Boa and draw cards or defensive. So overall, incredible card you want to stay at 4. Next we have the promo pack Jinbei. And there's been a lot of talk about this card. Right now it's $100. I got him early, so I was lucky in that regard. Over the course of the tournament, I did not have Jinbei in play one time. But with Michael E's win, Law might become more prevalent, so I am thinking about adding an additional Jinbei. So this card is kind of, I was on the fence about going into Arlington, going into Peoria. And like I said, I never got it out, but if Law becomes popular, you're going to need at least 3, and that's just, you can't cut it from the Doffy list at that point. All right, moving on, I have 3 Desert Spotta. This is where my list diverges a little bit. A lot of Doffys are playing other things like the 1-drop lets you manipulate the top 3 cards of your deck. I don't like him because he has no counter ability. Same with the Kuma that lets you stack the top 3. Again, 2 for 3K, no counter ability. Desert Spotta filled the need for additional Perona type effects while being defensive. And as an additional bonus, if it comes out of your life, you get to filter your hand by drawing 2 cards and trashing a card. Now this can mess up your stack, so you need to be cognizant of that. However, it also helps you a lot because you can just ditch a dead Draco Mihawk if you're behind on the board. Next, we're gonna move into the Pacifista engine. We have the 4 Bartholomew Kuma and 3 Pacifista. I saw a tournament report recently, some Doffy players cut this in favor of playing like 4 Jinbeis and some other things. I can't say I'm the leading authority on blue just yet, but that is absolutely wrong. You want this engine. It's incredibly powerful. It gives you so much tempo, just be able to block and attack and play a 6K vanilla, or even, you tag kill their guy. They have to kill your blockers. Like, they have to kill this eventually. And just being able to drop a free guy, it's 4 Dawn for free. Never cut the Pacifista engine. The numbers could be changed. I like 4 and 3, but for now, we're gonna keep it like this. Next, we have the 1-drop Trafalgar Law blocker. This one could be dropped down to 2, but overall, I think Doffy's big problem is you have some awkward turns with your Dawn, given how much you have to invest in your leader to activate the ability. So having things that cost 1 really help make an awkward turn better. So I think 3 Trafalgar Law is probably where you want to be. 4 is just a little too many with all the Whitebeards and Vistas running around. Next, I have 4 Love Mellow. Best event in the game, in my opinion, even better than Jet Pistol. I might get some hate for that, but just a 2K or 2 cost event, 4K, being able to draw a card is just so important in this game. You can chain these, draw 2 extra cards. I blocked an attack for like 19 on 0 life because I had 2 level up Mellows. The card's incredible. You want 4, no reason to cut it. Best event in the game. You heard it here first. Next, we're gonna go to Gekko Moria 6K. This is probably the best addition to Doffy for set 2. Just having a vanilla 6K off his leader ability, very good. Same level as Pacifique. You know, he can attack with no Dawn and Whitebeard, get a card out of their hand. You just never want to cut down to more than, 4 Gecko Moria vanillas. He's a vanilla, right? They're so good right now. 4 for 6, busted stat line. Next we have Draco Mihawk. He is a 7 Warlords, and if you blind flip, he will come into play. But most of the time, you want this one in your hand. He's only at 5K for 4. He messes up your stack with his ability. While he's fine as a last resort, almost every other target in your deck is what you want in play over the Mihawk. So stay at 4 of him, but try not to get it in play unless you absolutely have to. Next, we have Alvita. Alvita is an interesting card because it's 2K counter. I did find myself playing Alvita, mostly against Zoro, just to have another body on board early to kind of take down their 1-drops. It's not amazing, but it's a 2K counter. You never want to cut it. Next, we're going to go on to our stacking cards. We have our 4 Donquixote Doflamingo and our 4 Peronas. Again, non-negotiable. This is the entire engine of the deck, being able to stack the top of your deck, being able to get what you want into play. The Doflamingo has the bonus of being a blocker for 3, which end up being oddly just a really important number. Like trying to drop 2 blockers in a turn that cost 4 was awkward, but having the Doflamingo as a 3-drop really drove the curve perfectly. I couldn't really put into words why, but just like I said, Doffy has like awkward turns with his Dawn simply because how much you have to invest into his leader ability. So having all these different Dawn costed cards really makes it more efficient. All right, so going forward, the only changes, like I said, looking to make, cut a Desert Spotta for a Djembe. But what I'm going to say about this deck, if you want to beat red at your locals, if you want to beat red at Arlington, build this deck, put a lot of time into it. I know a lot of you playing Whitebeard, Zoro, Luffy, you've probably crushed Doffy's countless times, but I'm saying this now, when you run into that guy who's a extremely high level player like Tyler's top 4 opponent, it is a really difficult matchup. Like Doffy players, I'm going to give it a 7-3 edge in Doffy's favor against every flavor of red in the current format. All right, everyone, I hope you liked the video on my Donquixote Doflamingo. Please like and subscribe. Check out our Patreon. We've gotten a few more of y'all helping us out. And I know it's hard to part with that $5 a month, but it's really helping us because we're traveling, we're getting camera equipment, and we need to pay our editor. So yeah, thanks for watching.